I'm just like on a roll here. I'm doing my second video for you on the same day, but I'm gonna post it maybe like a couple days later. But I'm just so excited about so many things to share with you, and this is like the time, right? So, yeah. So as you know, many of you know, I moved out of my dad's place and to a tiny cabin or tiny house that I'm renting, and I have been so blessed here. I just like the time, the quiet time, the time alone, the time with my animals, just soaking in the presence of our King and His creation has been healing, like healing waters to my spirit, to my soul. And I can't thank Him enough. I can't thank Him enough for your support as well. It's just been such a blessing. And well, one of the most amazing things that's happened here is that so here where I am living, there's no Messianic Jewish synagogue. I don't have that here. I grew up mostly in the Messianic Jewish community, and then I was a cantor for a time. I led worship for a time, and then when my mom was really sick, that just, I didn't lose my faith, but just going to service just wasn't really practical. My dad and I would take turns at first. We were taking turns, watching my mom, taking care of my mom, and of course things got more intense. And yeah, the thing is that that's just been sadly not something I've had, a community really. So here where I am just amazed to say that with my landlords, the people who I'm renting from, we have actually together started to study the Bible on Saturdays. Yeah, on the Sabbath. It's just amazing. And the first thing we studied from was Isaiah. I said, I just want to open my Bible and just see where we come to. And we did that, and exactly what we read was something I needed to hear, I needed to read. For me, it ministered to me. It was Isaiah chapter 5 or 6, somewhere in there. And one of the things out of everything that stood out to me was the touching the lips of the prophet with a coal to be holy, to be purified, and the realization that God or the reminder that God takes the most unqualified people and uses them for His great work, for His glory. It's like a great big sign, if you will, that hey, it's not about who you are, it's about who I am. I mean, he can use a donkey to talk. So that's very humbling. He doesn't even have to use us, but He chooses to use us. So I was like so blessed by that. I was about in tears because I'm just like, wow, He can use me. He uses us, the most unqualified people, and He can cleanse us and He can make us holy for His work. That is who He is, and that's how awesome He is. So that was from Isaiah, and then we started this last time we started in Ezekiel, and once again, something I needed to read. I'm actually trying to understand more now, because I'm like, our King is speaking directly to my heart. He always is, but it's like, wow, it's like so much what I'm needing to hear, because we're reading in Ezekiel, and we got to chapter 2. And it says, I won't read the whole chapter, but in verse 6 of chapter 2, our King says, "As for you, human being, don't be afraid of them or their words, even if briars and thorns surround you, and you sit among scorpions. Don't be afraid of their words or be upset by their looks, for they are a rebellious house. You are to speak my words to them, whether they listen or not, for they are very rebellious. But you, human being, hear what I am telling you. Don't you be rebellious like that rebellious house. Open your mouth and eat what I am about to give you. And I actually have had in my cabin, I have experienced coming face to face with 2 scorpions. Yes, it's a good thing I'm not a city girl. I think if I was a city woman, I probably would have ran off a long time ago, but all the wildlife and things. But I grew up in the country, so I'm prepared. Actually, I think the giant spider that was on my shower towel was more terrifying than the scorpion, just because it just kind of appeared. It was, yeah. I didn't scream though. I did not scream. That's not what I do. Mm-mm. Anyways, so yeah, I've come across 2 scorpions, and I mean, because I'm living in the country, so that's the way it is. But you know me, I think when I see things, when I hear things, I'm like, I just want to know, I know that things don't just happen. There's a plan for stuff. You know, God has details in our lives. He's a detailed creator. He's a detailed God. So I was like, what does this mean? Is this just an exciting experience, a testimony? What does this mean? And so when I read this, it's like jumped out at me about the scorpions, because I thought, oh, I had this experience before I read this, because this is our King is preparing me for this. And it's like when we do what he wants us to do, it's a blessing, it's amazing, but it's not easy. Sometimes we have to face friends just not wanting to hang out with us anymore, or even family. Family not wanting to really know who we really are or want to believe in us. Being left misunderstood. So, because you have to remember, Ezekiel's like with his people, with the people of the Lord, and Abba tells him, you sit among scorpions. You are in a place where I'm there, I'm blessing you, but it's gonna be hard. It is hard, but I will bless you, and you take what I'm giving you, and you share it. And what they do with it, it's what they do with it or don't. And of course, later on, as we continue to read in Ezekiel, we get to about this is something that really spoke to me too. This is chapter 3, starting in verse 17. Human being, I have appointed you to be a watchman for the house of Israel. When you hear a word from my mouth, you are to warn them for me. If I say to a wicked person, you will certainly die, and you will fail to warn him, to speak and warn the wicked person, to leave his wicked way and save his life, then that wicked person will die guilty, and I will hold you responsible for his death. Makes me think twice about that, when our King tugs at our heart to share something with somebody. It's important, beloveds, it's important. Similarly, when a righteous person turns away from his righteousness and commits wickedness, I will place a stumbling block before him. He will die. Because you failed to warn him, he will die in his sin. His righteous acts which he did will not be remembered, and I will hold you responsible for his death. But if you warn a righteous person that a righteous person should not sin, and he doesn't sin, then he will certainly live, because he took the warning, and you too will have saved your life. Yeah. I should see when the Hebrew human being. I have my English Bible here. Is it like, well, I'm sure now when you're watching this video, then we will all know what it says in the Hebrew, because I will have looked it up. But at the moment, I just have my English Bible in front of me. So it says human being. He's calling him human being. Very original. At times, Abba calls his people by name. But it is interesting that here it says human being. His prophet. There was something else that we read here that was another just wow moment. I guess there's a lot of those in the Bible. Oh yes, okay. So that's right. Because Ezekiel, this part is so much like Revelations. Here it is. Wait, is this it? It's the part about the rainbow. It's either chapter 4 or chapter 3 at the end of it. Maybe just chapter 4 or chapter 3. It's the part about the rainbow. Or chapter 2, because I don't know for sure. I think it. Oh no. Okay, chapter 1, verse 28. Because this is when Ezekiel sees this vision of our king. This brilliance around him looked like a rainbow in a cloud on a rainy day. This was how the appearance of the glory of Adonai looked. When I saw it, I fell on my face, and I heard the voice of someone speaking. So this was, when I read that, and I've thought about this before, because there's a reference similarly in Revelations. This rainbow, the rainbow, as we know, after the flood that took place, of course there's a science behind it, the rainbow, we know that. But it was also a symbol to us of the mercy of our King, that he would not destroy the earth in that way again. And so this rainbow is a picture of Hashem's mercy. And here, it's like, okay, so his mercy is his glory. Think about it, okay? Only one can give us that gift of mercy, who has already made the sacrifice, who has gone ahead, who is the author of mercy, is our King. So that is his glory. His glory is that attribute of mercy which only he alone he has. He has for us, and he wants us to practice. So when we actually practice this gift of mercy, we are in fact taking on this attribute, this characteristic of our King. And that is how we share in his glory. Okay? Which is just absolutely amazing. So this rainbow here, it's says this brilliance around him looked like a rainbow in a cloud. This brilliance around him was mercy. And this was his glory. It's pretty amazing. I'm just, yeah. So that's what I wanted to share with you. I'm very excited about this study. Very excited about this with my landlords, and hopefully I'll get to also share more. And if you want, you can join along too. We just started, so starting in the beginning of Ezekiel. I think we got to chapter 4 or 5. And we'll just go from there. Thank you for listening. I love you so much, beloved, and thank you for just being amazing. And I know one day we will all meet together, and it will be amazing when our King returns. But you never know, we might meet before that sometime, somewhere. The Messianic Jewish community is not really that big, so You never know. Blessings. Shalom. Shalom.